guys, I am back today with a much requested video. This is my top 5 for this month, and I'm going to be talking about my top 5 concealers. Honestly, it's 6. I could not narrow it down to 5 because there's some things I like in some concealers better than other concealers, and I really felt like I needed to include all of them. Now, as I always do in my top 5, I tell you how many I have to start with so you know how hard or easy it was for me to narrow it down to the 5 that I'm going to be talking about. So, including the concealers in my kit, which I've all tried, I have 28 concealers that I picked from, which I know is like absolutely ridiculous, but you know, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the ones that I like the most. So I'm not going to go in any specific order, except for the last one. I will save my favorite for last, as I always do. And then I will also save like my honorable mention, I guess, until after my favorite. All right, let's just get started because apparently I'm rambling today. The first one I'm going to talk about is the MAC Prolongwear Concealer. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put down here how much they are and how many ounces they are. And I'm also going to compare price per ounce so that at the end I can tell you which one's the cheapest and which one's the most expensive for the amount of product that you get. This one is $22 and you get 0.3 ounces, making it $73 per ounce. Now, this has a pump on it, which a lot of people complain that the pump disperses too much product. I guess, I mean, I can totally use one pump on both my eyes and be fine. I don't think it's too much, but you can also get away with less than that. Now, it does come in 16 shades, and it has both pink and yellow undertones. NC is yellow, NW is pink. I choose to carry NWs in my kit. This one is actually my personal one. It's the NW25 because the pink undertones will help cancel out darkness as well as conceal. So I just pick the NWs to carry in my kit and for personal use. So this one is NW25. The claims is that it's full coverage. Yes, it is. That it's a matte finish. Yes, it is. That it's water and transfer resistant. I've never cried in it, but it's held up with my brides, so I will agree with that to an extent. And that it has a 15-hour wear. It does have a very long wear. So the only downside to this one is that some people say it can dry up under their eyes. So maybe if you have really dry under eyes, don't use this. But I feel like as long as I moisturize really well on my clients and myself, I've never had an issue with this. And I don't like the glass bottle. I don't mind the pump. I wish they would change it to plastic because it's too easy to break. And the last thing I need to do is break concealer all over my floor or all over my client. That would be awful. Knock on wood, hasn't happened yet, but there's always tomorrow. The next one I'm going to talk about is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I have it in custard. This is $30 for 0.22 ounces, making it $136 per ounce, which is a very large jump up from the MAC concealer. This is not as pro-friendly packaging-wise, only because with the pump, I can pump it right onto a palette or by hand. This, I kind of have to scrape it off the doe foot. It's just, I mean, because I never put a doe foot on somebody's face. Don't ever do that if you're an artist. I see so many people doing that, and I just want to reach through the screen and shake them. Don't do that. So, you know, packaging-wise, it's fine. It's perfect for personal use. This is a thicker concealer. It's probably the thickest out of all the ones that I'm going to talk about. It does also come in 16 shades, and it has a variety of undertones. Pink, peachy, golden, olive, and even a warm red undertone. So women of color, you're going to really appreciate that they go into such various undertones in this concealer. Now, it claims to have medium to full coverage. I think it has pretty full coverage right out of the bat. It says it's ideal for all skin tones. I do not think this is good for dry skin. I do not think it works if you have dry under eyes or dry patches around blemishes or anything like that. I think all it does is accentuate it. This is my personal opinion. And this claims to have light diffusing properties with a radiant finish. I don't really think it's a radiant finish. I find it to be more of the matte finish, more on the matte side, like the MAC one. I don't know, maybe it's, no, I don't feel like it does. If it does on you, that's great, but I don't feel like it personally does. Now the trick with this one I've talked about before, because it's so thick and because it can tend to accentuate fine lines and wrinkles, I will start right down here. I will not go all the way up in under my lash line. I will start right here, swipe or dot, and then I will take whatever brush or beauty blender I'm using to blend it out and blend it up into my lash line versus starting out there and blending down. It creates way too much product where you need the least amount of product, and it just helps with creasing and whatnot. The third one I've done a whole video on, and it's the Amazing Cosmetics Amazing Concealer. This is the biggest amount of product that I'm going to talk about, and it comes in 0.5 ounce tube. They also sell a smaller one, but I have the 0.5 ounces. So it's $42, which seems kind of expensive, but because you get so much product in it, it only ends up being $84 an ounce, which is a little bit more than the MAC, but way under the NARS Radiant. So it's a little bit more money on the front end, but when you realize that which small amount you have to use, it's really not that big of a deal. It lasts forever. Now, this does claim to have a full coverage. It does have a very full coverage. I've said before, you don't need very much. I have the color medium golden, which I have and I like because it does have more of an orange undertone, and I personally am only comfortable using this concealer without a corrector. I don't have to use a corrector at all, so it makes it good for traveling because I only have to pack one thing, and for fast days because I put it on, I set it, and I'm gone. Now, some people will not like this because it does contain talc, mineral oil, and petroleum. I don't have an issue using that because my skin has never had an issue with it. I don't find that it does anything long lasting. I don't find that it ruins my skin. I don't have an issue with it. If you do, you're going to want to skip this because some people just do have an issue. And it's your face, it's your skin, you do what you want. I don't have an issue with it, but do know that it does contain that stuff. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about, it's the newest one to my collection, but I really, really, really like it. It's the Bobbi Brown Intensive Skin Serum Concealer. It comes in this very slick black packaging and with this little gold top. I am in the color Beige 6. This is the most expensive one I'm going to talk about. It only contains, let me see, 0.24 ounces, and it's $42. That's the same amount of money that this one is. Okay? I get a pro discount with Bobbi Brown, so I didn't spend $42. And it might hurt me if I had to. So, if you're like on a budget, this is not going to be the one you want to pick. But I have to be honest that it is one of my favorites. It does come in 15 shades, and it has yellow, olive, and neutral undertones available. Now, I'm guessing the reason that they're charging more for this is because they do claim that it has skincare benefits included or infused within it, and that over time, it will help reduce dark circles. It will help hydrate the skin that you apply it to, and it also says that it will support the natural repair process of your skin. Now, I am going to tell you personally, I do not buy into skincare infused makeup. I've said this before. By the time I put my foundation or my concealer on, I have my IT serum, my IT Cosmetics serum for the concealer, an eye cream, and most of the time I put some oil under my eyes before I do it too. So that's 3 layers of stuff that I have before this even touches my face. Do I think that there's going to be enough potent skincare benefits to get through 3 layers of other skincare and to actually help repair? No. So I don't buy into that. Same with foundations. By the time I get to my actual foundation, I have probably 5 layers of skincare on. I just don't think it's really going to make a difference. If you think that makeup infused with skincare makes a difference, by all means, this might be worth the $42 for you. I like it because it is so lightweight. It's very lightweight. It's very thin. It does have a lighter coverage. I would say this is more of a light to medium coverage. That's the color right there. You're not going to be able to see anything, but it is like a serum consistency. I don't know. I just like the way it performs under my eyes. Better than, 23 of my other concealers, so I had to include it. Okay, this one, some of y'all are going to be like, no, because I used it in my fast makeup tutorial, and a lot of y'all had questions on it. Now, I don't have the full size, and I cannot find anywhere online how many ounces are in the full size, so I can't tell you for sure. Let me Google it real quick. Okay, I did find it. So it comes in a 12 milliliter tube, the full size. This is the Lancome Teint Ultra Wear Camoflauge Concealer. I just had this little baby size. The full size 12 milliliters for $31, so it makes it $77.50 an ounce, which is like the next to cheapest that I've talked about so far. So, all right, here's the deal with this. A lot of y'all have said that it emphasizes it makes your eyes look really dry. It emphasizes your fine lines and wrinkles. Honestly, everybody that has commented on it said they just can't get it to work for them. I can totally see where that could happen. But here's the thing. I'm going to show you here. I'm going to waste a whole day's worth of concealer for y'all. How much I love you. I'm going to show you here how much I use under both eyes. And this might even be too much. Can you even see it? That right there is probably too much. And that will cover both of my under eye circles to perfection. Now, I've got contour down there on my hand. I do think that if you use any more than what I just showed you, it would be a disaster under your eyes. A disaster. Now, I will tell you what the Lancome website actually says to do. First of all, it says that it's full coverage with a natural matte finish. Agree, agree. It says to warm up on your hand before applying, to wait a few seconds, and then blend out. I think that's really important. And it also says a little bit goes a very long way. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, the tiniest amount, whatever you think the tiniest amount is, take a little bit off of that and then use it. And what I do is I go in with a brush and I will apply it with the brush, and then I will wait a few seconds, like it says, and I'll go in with my beauty blender and just kind of blend it out and like buff out any of the like harsh edges or anything. And that's how it works perfectly under my eyes. Once I do that and set it, it does not go anywhere. It makes my under eyes look really, really flawless. It's beautiful. It is, I mean, there's a learning curve to this concealer, but once you find that learning curve, I don't think you're going to be upset. Now, if you go in with this concealer like you see all around YouTube, or people are going and they just paint these huge like triangles under their eyes, yeah, you're going to hate it. Like, I would despise it if that's how much I used. You've got to like kind of buck the trend and use a tiny, tiny bit. But once you do that, I honestly love this concealer. Okay, now we are on my very, 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 very favorite concealer of all time. And if y'all have been watching me, you probably already know what this is, because I haven't talked about it yet, and you'll know how much I love it. And I don't use it that much on myself because it's fairly expensive. You rarely ever get money off of this brand. And I really wanted it for my kit. I wanted it for my clients because it performs so well. So today I dug it out of my kit and I used it on myself. And Lancome's actually having a 20% off sale right now, so I might just get some for myself. But this is the Lancome Effercernes Waterproof Long-Lasting Under Eye Concealer. I did a video on this, I don't even know how long ago it was, and I sang its praises to the moon, and I will continue to do it until I don't wear makeup anymore. I honestly believe that. This is where my sixth one comes in. I've talked about 5, so just so you know, if you're counting. This is honestly the best concealer I have ever used. I will link the video for you to go look at it. Nothing's changed since then. It's the only concealer that by the time I go back to it to buff it out, because I put concealer on and then I go and do my cream products, if I'm doing cream blush, cream bronzer, whatever, and then I will go in and set my under eyes once I've had given the chance for the concealer to kind of settle in a little bit. And once I do that, it's the only one where I go back and it does not crease. There's no creasing. None whatsoever. It sets beautifully with all powders. There's not a single powder I've used where it doesn't work with this concealer. It's lightweight. It is $31 and it does come in half an ounce. So this is going to be the cheapest concealer that I've talked about, and it's the best. It's only $62 for an ounce, which is way cheaper than any one of the ones I've talked about. It comes in 13 shades. It has 508 reviews on Lancome.com and it has 4.7 stars. Now, if that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know what does. It claims to have a natural coverage, a soft matte finish, long wear, waterproof, and won't crease. Yes, 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 yes. 100% agree with all of that. I love to use it on my clients because it is waterproof. My brides love it because it is waterproof and because it looks really good under the eyes. It does not crease. It does not accentuate. It's lightweight. You can't feel it. Everything about this is perfection. So when I did my concealer video the other day, when I said, you know, I haven't found one that like blows my socks off, it's because I forgot about this, because I've been using it on my clients more than I've been using it on myself, and I just don't think about it in terms like that when I don't use it on my actual face. So then when I was like, oh, hold up, no, I do, because people asked me about it in that video, and that's when I started getting it out, and this is like the 3rd day in a row that I've worn it, and oh, it's so good. I've got to get one for myself. It's so good. So this is the only concealer I have found that I can 150% say, stop what you're doing, go down to the link, open another, whatever you want to do, and buy this concealer. Okay? Buy this concealer. It's so good. Now, I do want to very quickly do an honorable mention, because I think 500 of y'all are going to be like, what? You don't like Shape Tape? Because, you know, everybody likes Shape Tape. Well, no, not everybody does like Shape Tape. Now, I have Shape Tape. Because, you know, the hype was real and I just had to know what was going on. I do not use it like people use it. I do not put it under a triangle. I don't even use more than a dot under each eye, and I don't use it every day. I do not see how people who put a ton of this product look their age. I don't see how that doesn't make them look 18 years older. Like, these people, I don't get it. I know a lot of y'all are like head over heels in love with this, and I love that. There are redeeming qualities. That's why I'm giving it an honorable mention, but I'm going to tell you how I use it. I use it with my concealers like the Bobbi Brown or my Maybelline Fit Me, or something that doesn't have as much coverage as I necessarily want. Something that's more of a light coverage concealer. But I will take this big old honking buck foot, because it's not a doe foot, that's a buck foot, and I put literally a dot right there on the crevice where I get my darkest, a dot, and then I will blend it out with my beauty blender. It brightens it up a little bit because this is light medium and it's just a little too light for me. So it does brighten it up a little bit, and it just adds a little bit more coverage. I do not go right under my eyes with this because it will age me big time. That's why I put it down here, and I just kind of blend across. I don't blend up, I just blend across, just to give a tad bit more coverage where I'm the darkest. So for me personally, I cannot say this is technically in my top 5 because I don't like it by itself. I only like it for what I just mentioned. I cannot wear it by itself. I just can't. I know some of y'all love it, and I don't want this to deter you from trying it. Just be sure you try it from somewhere where you can return it if you don't like it, because it doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't. And I've had a couple clients where it doesn't even work when I put the dot on it. Okay, so just so you know, like, I've had to take their concealer off because I didn't like the way it looked when I used this. So just know that, but I did want to mention it because I know it's like all the craze, so I did want to tell you how I use it. So that, my friends, is all of the concealers that I love. Please, if I talked about one that you hate, like, don't take it personally. If I didn't talk about one that you absolutely love, don't take it personally. And know that if I've talked about loving another concealer in the past, none of that's changed. I don't have a single concealer that I used to love and now hate. So just know that just because it's not in my top 5, if I've said I've liked it in the past, I still like it. Hopefully this gave you some new ideas on some new concealers to try out. If it did, I'd love to hear it. And if you do have another favorite concealer, let me know. I mean, it might not be one that I have in my collection of 28, and goodness knows I'm always trying something new, so let me know in the description bar. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you like this type of video, be sure and give it a thumbs up. And as always, I hope y'all all have a very blessed